This is Nagajyoti working as an assistant professor in Department of ECE in St. Peter's Engineering College. So, in this session, I want to discuss a brief introduction regarding a course of Digital System Design for second ECE students for R18 regulation. So, here the name itself indicates Digital System Design. So before going for the course, we should know what is meant by digital, what is the system and design. So here this complete course deals with a signals of digital. So before going for this digital, first we should know what is meant by a signal. So here a signal is a two-dimensional in which it consists of two dimensions. One is x-axis and the other one is y-axis. In the x-axis in general we will be dealing with time and y-axis as amplitude. So if a signal continuously varies with respect to time, means at each and every instant of time the amplitude of the signal is going to be changed. So if the amplitude of the signal is going to be changed at each and every instant of time, such signals are called as analog signals or continuous signals. So the signal is a two variable, which is, if that signal is varying continuously with respect to time, it is called as an analog signal. If the signal is not varying with respect to time and it is having some digitalized values, then such signals are called as digital signals. So here in case of a digital signals, instead of it is varying continuously with respect to time, it will vary at discrete instants of time. So from 0 to t1, this value is having some value of amplitude, but from t1 to t2, the amplitude of that signal is 0. So in case of a digital signals, it consists of two discrete values. So here in our syllabus, we are dealing with those two discrete values. Those two discrete values are zeros and ones. What is the reason why you need to go for digital signals rather than using an analog signal? In case of an analog signal, if noise is going to be added up to this signal, the original information is going to be corrupted. Means before noise is added up, the amplitude of the signal is, let me take this 0.5 volts. But when the noise is going to be added up, instead of 0.5 volts, now it is having 1 volt. The complete information will be present only in terms of the amplitude of the signals. So the information is going to be corrupted. But whereas in case of the digital signals, even the noise is going to be added up. In case of a digital, we will be having some threshold values. Means in case of some digital circuits, if the range of the voltage is in between 0 to 1.5 volts, it is treated as logic 0 or low, logic low. If the voltage is in between 3.5 volts to 5 volts, then it is treated as logic 1 or high logic. So even the noise is going to be added up. Let me take the amplitude of this signal is some 3 volts. If the noise is going to be added up, I will be getting as 4 volts. Means before noise and after noise, the signal is having only one level, that is either logic 0 or logic 1. So the main advantage of using a digital is it is less immune to noise, and instead of transferring n number of data, we can transfer only 2 bits of information in terms of only zeros and ones. And we can encrypt the data as well as decrypt the data. So in case of a digital communication, you can secure your data when compared to that of the analog. Coming to the next one, system. That is a combination, that is a group of circuits which will give a specific output for a particular input is called as a system. Means you are giving some inputs to that block and you are expecting some output, predefined output value is called as a system. So the best examples for the digital system design circuits are, we can take an example of an elevator or a lift. So in case of an elevator or a lift, whenever we are pressing a button, first it will check where is the current position of the elevator. Depending upon the current position of the elevator, it will check whether it need to go up or down. So in order to know the present status as well as the next status, it need of some memory. So in case of a digital system design, we will be having some circuits which are having some internal memory. So if you are going to design, means if you are going to develop a circuit in such a way that expected in output for a predefined input is nothing but called as design. So making some form of an output in terms of the input variables. So this is all about a digital system design. So in case of a digital system design, the first concept deals with different types of number systems. So in case of a number systems, as the name itself indicates, it deals with different types of numbers. So here in case of a digital system design, the complete deals with only two variables of zeros and ones, but along with these zeros and ones, we will be having some sort of other number systems which are preferable one over the other. So basically the number systems are of four different ways. One is binary number system, second is decimal number system, third is octal number system, and the fourth one is hexadecimal number system. So before talking with individual number systems, first let us see what is the significance of each number system and where it is used. Coming to the first one, which is nothing but binary number system. In case of a binary number system, it is used in case of computers, because the computers will understand only the machine level language which is in the form of zeros and ones. So here the by itself indicates it consists of two digits. Those two digits are zeros and ones. And for each number system we will be having a term called as radix or base. So here the radix or base itself indicates how many number of digits are present in that particular number system. So in case of a binary number system, as it consists of only two numbers, that is 0 and 1, so the radix or base of this number system is 2. So the example for a binary number system completely consists of digits of only zeros and ones. Coming to the next type of number system, which is nothing but decimal number system. In case of a decimal, deci itself indicates 10. So the radix or base of this number system is 10, and the numbers will start from 0 to 9. So the total number of digits are 10. It will start from 0 to 9. So the application of the decimal number system is, if you want an accurate measurement. That is, if I want to find out the length of a chalk, I will be using a scale in which I will be saying it as 3.5 centimeter. Means along with the integer part, the fractional part is also important. So wherever we are interested, in order to find out the accurate results, we will be using with decimal number system. The next number system is octal number system. Oct itself indicates 8. So the radix of this number system is 8 and the numbers are from 0 to 7. Whatever may be the number system, always the numbers will start from 0. The next type of number system is hexadecimal number system. Hexa represents 6, deci represents 10. So the total number of digits are 16. So the base for this hexadecimal number system is 16. But instead of representing from 0 to 15, here we will be representing from 0 to 9, and 10 to 15 are represented as A to F. Means A represents 10. That is, wherever 10 is there, we need to replace this 10 with A. Similarly, 11 is B, 12 C, 13 D, 14 E, and 15 is F. Now I will tell you one best example for the hexadecimal number system. If I want to count, the total number of vehicles are some 50,000 vehicles. But the condition over here is, in case of a 50,000, I will be having 5 digits. But the condition over here is, instead of using 5 digits, I need to use only 3 digits or 4 digits to the maximum extent. So if I am writing 3-digit number, the highest 3-digit number is 999. But if I am counting the vehicles from 1 to 999, it is okay. If I am going for the 1000 vehicle, instead of getting it as 3 digits, I will be getting it as 4 digits. But the condition is, I want to count by using only a 3 digit. So what I will be doing over here is, after representing it as 999, I will be representing it as A00. Similarly, I can write down till A99. After A, we will be going for the next digit of B. So in this way, we can able to count 50,000 vehicles. Instead of using it as a 5-digit number, we can use it as only a 3-digit number. These are the 4 different types of number systems and the significance of number systems. Now, let us start with the next concept of how to convert from one number system towards other number system. That is, we need to convert all the number systems from one number system towards the other number system. So in case of the conversions, that is the concept now we are dealing with number based conversions. So in case of a number based conversions, we need to convert binary to octal, decimal, hexadecimal. Similarly, decimal to binary, octal, hexadecimal. Octal to binary, decimal, hexadecimal. And the last one is hexadecimal to binary, octal and decimal. So if we observe this, we need to convert from one number system towards the remaining 3 number systems. But the condition over here is, instead of remembering each and every individual conversions, we can do all these conversions by remembering only 2 things. That is, the first one is, we need to convert octal or hexadecimal. So if you want to convert any number system to a decimal number system, the procedure is multiply the given number system with the radix of the same number system with increasing powers from LSB to MSB. So here any itself indicates, let me take, I am taking a number system of binary 101 base 2. I want to convert this into a decimal which is a base 10. So here this bit, this last bit is called as least significant bit and this bit is called as most significant bit. So here in this conversion I want to convert 101 which is in the binary into a decimal number system. So multiply the given number with the radix of the same number. So here the radix is 2, so I am multiplying each and every individual digit with 2. So 1 into 2 plus 0 into 2 plus 1 into 2. And start with increasing powers from LSB towards the MSB. This is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square. So this is 4 plus 0 plus 1 which is equivalent to 5. So 101 in the binary is equivalent to decimal in terms of which is equal to 5. Similarly, if you want to convert octal to decimal, instead of multiplying with 2, here we need to multiply with 8. If it is an hexadecimal, instead of multiplying with 8, we need to multiply with 16 with increasing powers from LSB towards the MSB. This is for integer part. If it is a fractional part, the procedure is the same, but the difference over here is for the fractional part, start from after fraction. Now let me take one example. 35.6 which is base 8. I want to convert into a decimal. So here this 35 is integer part, 6 is a fractional part. And whenever we are reading other than the decimal number system, we need to represent each and every digit individually. That is the reason I am saying, instead of saying it as 35, I will be saying it as 35. If I am saying it as a 35, it represents, it is not an octal number system, it is a decimal number system. So here multiply 3 with 8 plus 5 with 8 and 6 with 8. But the difference over here is 5 is multiplied with 8 power 0, 8 power 1. Wherever we are having a decimal point, multiply with negative numbers, that is 8 power minus 1. So here 3 into 8 which is equivalent to 24 plus this is 5 plus 6 by 8 or it is 3 by 4 which is equivalent to 0.75. So equivalent is 29.75 in case of a decimal. So this is the way how to convert from any number system towards a decimal number system, whether the given number is an integer, fractional or combination of integer and a fractional. So from this I can say that we have converted a conversion from binary to decimal. Next one is octal to decimal, hexadecimal to decimal. So the next step is decimal to any other conversion. So whenever we are saying decimal to any other conversion, the point which we need to remember over here is divide the given number with the radix of the other number. So let me take a decimal number of 25. I want to convert this 25 into an octal number. So the given number is decimal, we need to convert into an octal. So whenever we are converting into an octal, divide this given number. So the given number is 25. Divide this given number with the radix of the other number. Here the radix of the other number is 8. So divide this 25 with 8 and write down the remainder separately. That is 8 is 24, remainder is 1. After you need to continue this process until you are unable to do the next more division process. So we cannot divide this 3 with 8, that is the reason I am stopping over here, and we need to write down from bottom to top approach. So here the first bit is 3, second is 1. So the equivalent for 25 of decimal in case of an octal is 3, 1. Similarly, if I want to convert this 25 into a binary, instead of dividing with 8, we need to divide it with 2. If I want to convert into an hexadecimal, instead of dividing with 2, we need to divide with 16. This is all about a conversion from decimal to any other number system for an integer part. So from this we can say that now I have converted decimal to binary, decimal to octal, decimal to hexadecimal. Now the next one is, let me check with binary to octal and binary to hexadecimal. And the other more important thing is, before going for these conversions, now let us see these conversions for the integer part also. That is, let me take, I am doing 0.625, which is in decimal. I want to convert into a binary. So here this is previous example is for integer part, now we are saying for fractional part. So in case of a fractional part, instead of dividing, we need to multiply. That is 0.625 into 2, which we will be getting is 2 5 10, 0 with carry on, 2 2 4 5, 2 6 12. So here I will be getting 1.250. Write down the integer part separately, that is 1. And remaining leftover fractional part 0.250 into 2, which is equivalent to 0.500. Here also write down 0 separately, that is integer part, leftover fractional part 0.50 into 2, which is equivalent to 1.00. This is 1. So whenever I am writing integer part over here, leftover is 0. So anyhow the resultant will be 0. So stop this procedure till this point. If you are not able to get zeros over here, you can continue the same process for 7 to 8 times. In these cases, we will be getting 3 different conditions. The first one is, we will be getting somewhere as 0. The second condition is, even if you do some 15 to 20 times, you won't get 0. So in such a cases, continue this process until 8 to 9 steps and stop over here. And the third type is, wherever you are getting a recursive function. That is, if you are dividing 10 divided by 3, we will be getting 3.333. That is, which is a recursive function. So whenever you are getting a repeated option, stop over there. Then here we need to write down from, previously we have written from top to bottom. Now here we need to write down from top to bottom. Previously we have written it as bottom to top approach. Here we need to write down top to bottom approach. So the equivalent for 0.625 base 10, that is in decimal into binary, is 0.625 decimal equivalent is 0.101 base 2. Even if you want to cross verify this, multiply this 2 power minus 1, 2 power minus 2, 2 power minus 3. That is 2 power minus 3 is 8, 2 power minus 1 is 2. So you will be getting 0.1 by 2 plus 0 plus 1 by 8. So if you do this process, you will be getting the same number which is equivalent to 0.625. This is the way how to convert decimal to any other number system for integer part as well as fractional part. And the next thing is, here the leftover thing is binary to octal, binary to hexadecimal. So here let me take binary to octal, binary to hexadecimal. So whenever we are dealing with binary to octal, the given number is in the form of only one sign zeros, that is base 2. I want to convert this into a base 8. Whenever you are dealing with binary to octal, so you can represent 8 in terms of 2 power 3. That is, split this partition is given with 3 3 starting from LSB towards the MSB. So I am rewriting the same number which is given in the question. I am partitioning from starting from LSB towards the MSB with only 3 because it is an octal. If it is an hexadecimal, instead of splitting with 3, you need to split up with 4. So first I will be doing with octal. So 3 digits split up. This is one partition, this is one partition. So you can write down here, this is a binary number. If you want, directly multiply with 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 square. So 1 into 2 power 1 is 2. Similarly, if you do the same procedure for the second partition, you will be getting 5. So equivalent for this binary number is 5 to base is 8. The second method is, whenever you are not having decimal number system for both the sides, convert a given number into a decimal. That is, first convert binary to decimal, then decimal to octal or hexadecimal, whichever the number system which we require. So here the same example, if I want to convert into hexadecimal, instead of partitioning into 3 bits, now I am going to partition into 4 4. So here if I am partitioning into 4, for the first part I will be getting 4. So for the second part I will be getting only 2 digits. So whenever you are getting not equivalent of 4 digits, just append 2 more zeros for the MSB side. So here this equivalent is 10, but in case of an hexadecimal number system, we cannot directly represent 10. Instead of 10, we need to replace with an 8. This is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, which is equivalent to 2. So the equivalent of 1 0 1 0 1 0 in case of an hexadecimal is 2/8. This is how to convert binary to octal and binary to hexadecimal. Similarly, the last one is, we need to convert octal to binary and octal to hexadecimal. In case of octal to binary, represent the equivalent bits. That is, let me take here the octal is 3 2. Write down this 3 equivalent with 3 digits and 2 equivalent with 3 digits. Or else convert this first octal towards the decimal. Again convert this decimal towards the binary. And the last one is hexadecimal to binary. So in case of an hexadecimal to binary, each and every individual hexadecimal number should be represented with 4 bits in terms of binary. Or the second method is, we can convert hexadecimal towards a decimal, then decimal to binary. This is how we are going to convert from one number system towards the other number system.